Like I said, last time we talked about a few things off camera. As Jonathan mentioned, we're going to talk about a few things on camera. We're getting short on time, so we've talked about what we're doing, but now we want to get into a few new things we're going to do and how these things are helping us execute our vision and our plan for going forward. So I want to introduce Daniel Wade. Daniel's one of our wireless senior engineering managers, and Steve Grau, right? Grau. I have it spelled wrong on my note.
I think Groot.
Yeah. I said he didn't look Asian to me when I looked at the name. I forgot the R. They're going to talk a little bit about what's new, what's coming, and I'm not sure which order you guys are running in, so I'll let you run with it.
Okay.
So I guess I'm up first. Steve will be up in a moment. A little bit nervous, excuse me. So I'm going to talk about our wireless LAN controllers today. I think you already saw this one. This is our WLC 100. I'll just go over a little bit more about it. I was fortunate enough to read one of the comments. This would protect you in a bar fight. Fantastic. You know, Juniper's all about security, right? This too. So you notice, hardware-wise, one of the simple additions is this USB console port. I've actually, as a developer, I found it really convenient because I use a Mac and it's super easy to plug this thing in. There's also the USB storage port. Again, these are just convenience things.
He said storage.
It's like bingo.
What's that?
It's like bingo.
Oh, bingo. Oh, sorry. Hey, do I get a piece of the action later?
I've got a sticker for you.
Sticker. Does it say I love Juniper Wireless? That's a sticker I want.
Storage. So, yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't support USB rocket launchers, but you know, maybe in the future release. Anyway, it supports up to 32 APs, hundreds of clients, and it has all of the MSS features. It fits into our low end, the line, replacing our WLC 2 and the WLC 8. So we deploy it in a branch or under, yes.
It's a lot heavier than WLC 2.
In fact, it is, right.
It's the storage.
Now, right, the rocket launcher inside. The
But it's a lot smaller than a WLC8.
right.
Yes, true.
If you were to take this apart, which I won't do here, you'll see why it's so heavy. Another unique feature about this product versus some of our other products is it's fanless. So this entire thing is basically cooling,
Yes.
right? It's actually really interesting. Take it apart once you buy one. I mean, buy lots of them and take them apart. We don't care.
So just a question on say your numbers again, how many APs and users?
Up to 32 APs, and I think the number is up to 800 wireless users.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said 100.
Yeah, that would be
What's the WLC 100 stand for then? Just 100?
100. I don't know. I'm in engineering. I don't make those decisions.
So
No clue.
Actually, we've just standardized on a 3-digit numbering for the line. That's all. So the WC 2 and 8 were more legacy. So the 100 is standardizing. It's the lower end of the line, and they're all 3 digits, and they go up from there.
Good questions.
2 of your ports are labeled in red. So the Ethernet, are those just because they're PoE or why?
Yes.
Why are they?
Yes, that's on my notes. I forgot to say it. We have 2 PoE plus ports on here supporting AT power. So thank you for that.
AT power.
Yes,
Wow.
indeed.
AT power.
AT power.
Somebody else
Yes.
repeat it.
Do I get no bingo for that one? Dang it. I'm going to keep working on this. What else can I say? Any other questions on this before we move on? No, fantastic.
First time I've seen a USB port for a console.
Yeah, they're starting to get more popular in other switches. We have them on, or switches and other devices in the network. We have them on other Juniper products. It was my first time seeing one as a developer. So, like I said, I like it. I plug in my Mac, and it just works. I had to download a driver, but we all download those drivers. Any other questions? No.
The metal plate.
Say again?
You know, we didn't bring the plate, so it's the fact that the bottom is all metal, so you can
Oh, right.
mount it like a magnet, like we can do with some of our small switches.
That's right. That is a new feature for us in WLAN as well.
Is there a rack mount kit as well for it?
That I'm not sure about. Rack mount kit?
I'm not
Good questions.
They give you a map to the local Home Depot to buy the piece of wood.
Yeah, piece of wood. We'll contact that ham radio guy. He can rack it. Okay. What's that?
Said, watch that.
Okay, so the other thing I'm going to talk about is our virtual controller. I'm particularly excited about this as a developer. I have been using our wireless LAN controller software for a number of years. And I've been using it on my, the actual software on my Mac because it's convenient for me to develop my software in a virtual machine on my computer. And I've been doing that for a while. And I think somebody, when we were talking about this, decided, hey, that's fantastic. Let's take that, let's move that to productize that. So that's what we're doing. In addition, it enables us as Juniper to scale. So once we virtualize the controller or release it as software, we can scale the data plane independently of the control plane. I'll talk a little bit about how our tunneling works. We've already talked about local switching. The virtual controller is it's 100%. It has 100% of the software features that the other controllers do. So there's no disparity in terms of what it can do. It can participate in a cluster, in a mobility domain. It can manage users and access points exactly like the rest of our controller. It fits in like another controller. We believe this is going to provide a lot of flexibility in where you deploy it, how you deploy it. We envision this being used in a server in your data center, in a server or small PC at your branch office, maybe on a service blade in some other device, which I won't go into. But I'm really excited about this. I think it provides a lot of flexibility. I think it will, it continues to continue to see opportunity for how we're going to use this. Yes.
Is it going to be released in addition, kind of like the desktop edition of the SSL VPN thing, where you can have a limited license to do testing and demoing with?
So I don't have the answer to that today. As I was preparing for this, I knew licensing questions were going to come up, cost was going to come up.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
we're also looking to make it an easy software download right off our website.
right.
Yeah, because that's the DTE edition is great.
Yes, so we're
Right.
definitely looking to support the DTE.
So let's see. Good question. I just deployed another one of these yesterday. Or 2 days ago. Sorry, I put it on my ESXi server, which is what we run on. I clicked on the little VM client software app, pointed at the URL, brought up the VMDK package, and it just ran. It was actually pretty easy to install and run. I was very happy with it from that perspective. I've been using the software. Use the package version is really great. So let me talk a little bit about the features that we're supporting. The initial release will support up to 256 access points and over 6,000 clients. That's what we envision. This is. Did you all see it? I passed it around.
Nice.
Okay, you get one of these.
That was good.
I love it. I didn't hear a bingo, but I'll keep working on it. What are
the VM requirements for that scale? Is that like 32 CPUs and 58 gigs of RAM? What's the-
64. No, I'm just kidding. It's a good question. We're still working on what are the exact specs. I've seen, on my older Mac, I didn't have a lot of CPU power, so I ran it very minimally. We've seen it run with very well in 256 megs of DRAM allocated to it. Actually, we ran with 275, and it used 250 something. We're pretty close to there. That's at the low end, right? It's not scaling all the way up. Scaling all the way up, our high-end controller today ships with a gig of DRAM. So this is our WLC 2800. Some of you may be familiar with. So maybe it'll be that much. I'm hoping it'll be less. But anyway, that's a part of the dev and test effort that we're going through right now is defining those specs. Currently, it's a few gigs for the entire package, which is what you typically expect. It's the operating system plus the MSS or the WLAN applications themselves, controller applications. I mentioned it runs on ESXi, on that hypervisor. In the future, we may run on something else, but for now, that's what we're gonna ship in. We're not gonna ship an appliance today using this. It's just the software. Any questions on that?
You said 250 APs and how many clients is that?
6,000.
Over 6,000.
So,
Right. How am I doing on time? I should wrap up.
You're doing great. Stop.
You mentioned storage, you made him happy, so.
Yeah, I made him happy. I guess one thing I really wanted to point out, or take some time to point out before I hand it over to Steve, who's going to talk about something also equally exciting, I think, is that Bruce was talking about local switching earlier. Our tunneling strategy basically is tunnel anywhere. So we don't care. As an administrator, you choose where your VLANs go. If you do local switching, you want to put 50 VLANs at every single AP because that's what you want to do. Actually, we don't support that many VLANs, but sorry, I'm not the marketing guy. Anyway, if you want to put a bunch of VLANs at every AP, fine. If you want to tunnel them into your virtual controller because you like the software doing all of your switching, I don't know why you do that, but you can if you want to. If you want to terminate your tunnels at another Juniper device, we support that, in WLAN. Yes.
What about the feature parodies? I noticed when other vendors ported their controller over to a virtual controller, a lot of features were lost.
Why? Why were they
That's
lost?
what I'm asking, right? So
Right. So let me give you a little history. About 8 or 9 years ago, maybe it was 10, we started running our WLAN controller software on our PCs, on our desktops. That's how we develop our software. So from 10 years ago until now, everything that we shipped was ran on our desktops over and over again. Everything. That's just the way the developers work because it's easy to do. Our products today, our first product shipped on a NetBSD based box. That's the OS running the applications. Our current products ship on QNX. This runs on the Linux operating system. Our software is built to run on top of, our applications, I should say, is built to run on various operating systems. So feature parity is something we just take for granted. I wouldn't expect anything else from any solution. If it's virtualized, it should do everything that that you expect it to do. Is that
100%.
100%? That's I said software though, right? I mean, don't compare the tunneling capability in terms of capacity and throughput to a real hardware dedicated controller. Right? Okay, thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks. Press for time.
You get that run on your iPad too.
What's that?
I have thought about that so many times. I'm dead serious.
The true wireless
I'm not going to
controller.
continue talking.
All right, so I'm supposed to talk about 11AC and Bonjour, and we don't have a lot of time, so we're going to go pretty quickly through all of this. So, we don't have an 11AC show and tell to pass around, so it's going to be sort of follow Daniel's lead of the virtual controller. You can just sort of imagine. But right. Well, it's small. It's small and it's light and it doesn't have a magnet. So on 11AC, so Juniper kind of believes 11AC is going to follow kind of the same trend 11N did. There's going to be multiple waves of it, and back in 2007, we were at the same place with 11N that we are with 11AC now. We're scrambling around. Thinking about these new features, which ones do you need to have in the product, which ones do you not need in the product, and that one was kind of I think our 4th generation. We've got one other AP is our 5th generation of 11N APs, and we're just now after 5 years kind of getting to the point where the whole product line and most customers are going with 11N. so it's been a transition. There was the 2-stream, 3-stream. So we're going to be seeing that same thing with 11AC. And we're committed to 11AC. We're working on 11AC products. So the good news with 11AC, for us is that our current situation is pretty good. That with 11N, there was a lot of new stuff to deal with at a system level of channel bonding and new QAM rates, MIMO, multiple streams, all these new things that were like revolutionary and had impacts at the controller, and you had like 10 times the bandwidth you had to deal with. With AC, it's going to be a lot easier because a lot of the advances in the technology are sort of incremental, building on ideas that already exist. So, packet aggregation already exists in the system. Channel bonding already exists with 11N. We bond 2 channels. AC, okay, we'll bond 4 channels or 8 channels together potentially. And we already handle 2 streams in our products, 3 streams in this one. So handling multiple streams kind of at the system level, that's all dealt with. Bruce mentioned the local switching that is going to help a lot with the bandwidth. Basically probably the first wave, you'll see about a little more than double the bandwidth of what you get with a 3-stream 11N AP. So probably 80 megahertz channels and a little bit higher QAM rates, another 30% higher on the QAM rate. So you'll get probably a little bit more than double the bandwidth. So we're ready for that with the local switching, and also our controllers, the high-end controllers, support a lot of bandwidth going in and out for the overlay traffic. So I think on the highest end, 2800, we have 2 10 gig ports and 5 or 8 1 gig ports. Is that so we have a lot of bandwidth through that system as well. So we're in good shape at a system level to handle AC. So it's more about developing an AP and some incremental adjustments to the system.
So that's a key note. We should note that the controllers that we're shipping today, for all purposes, are AC ready. You don't have the bandwidth problem because you locally switch your data traffic. Doesn't have to go through the controller. I think we mentioned that when we were together last time, but it's an AC ready controller, so you don't have to upgrade your controllers other than firmware to support the AC APs coming.
Do you find that most clients are now deploying in that distributed model, or are they still tunneling? Obviously, if they've got remote sites and WAN link, but if you've got a local site, are they still deploying?
I find most of the customers I'm working with are still running locally switching. It cuts in half your network traffic, from at least generated by the wireless, because it doesn't go up and then back.
So even though, people have had that mindset for as long as controllers have been around, 10 years or
right.
whatever. So
it doesn't mean it's right.
No, of course.
Yeah. It wasn't that way when we started controllers at the other company with the Cat 6K controller.
I hate controllers.
And so,
well, yeah, and the other thing too is our whole tunneling model is flexible, so you can have most of your traffic locally switched, but like guest users, you might want to throw them out in the DMZ. You can tunnel them up into the core of the network, and you'll still be able to do that sort of thing. So
you have a model then that requires, not requires, but controllers in the DMZ, so tunneling
from one controller to one outside the DMZ. Yeah. We don't run an anchor controller now.
Okay. So you're just tunneling to that internal controller, and then you've got to, client's got to set up ACLs in order to get it into the DMZ.
Or
tunnel
your tagged VLAN or something that goes over to some DMZ box or a separate port on.
It's not an uncommon way to do guests. So you have a controller with an interface in your DMZ network, and the other controllers that are on the inside initiate a tunnel out to that device.
Yeah, that's that was kind of my problem. I think it's a waste of money really to have to spend money on a controller. All it does is create a tunnel essentially. A router's been able to do that. You can create a GRE tunnel or IP and IP. So I'm just wondering if that's the model that you guys sort of. Is that how it's normally done?
That's how it's normally done. To address the cost piece of it, Daniel it's just sort of flexibility where we can terminate tunnels, access points can also terminate tunnels. So, so it can be an access point device that has that interface on the DMZ network.
Right. Okay.
So it's a little strange, but there's a more cost-effective way to address that. You need some WL device to terminate that tunnel today. So that would be an option as well.
All right, so let's bring it back to 11AC. Yeah, so some of the things, you know, we're looking to do with our 11AC AP, just, you know, give you an idea, a bit of an idea of where we're going is, I think last time Jay came and talked about the 532 and a lot of the, you know, great features we've done in there. You know, we're looking to carry, you know, pretty much everything we've done there forward. So, you know, the aesthetics of the industrial design, the mounting bracket capabilities. We talked earlier about the patterns and the balancing of the radios and the gains on the antennas to get similar coverage patterns for the 5 gig and 2.4 gig radios. You know, on the performance side of the local switching, that'll carry forward. And in all of our APs, we've really optimized the kind of the data plane and the radio drivers that we're able to push a lot of traffic through a very small device, and that will also carry forward in the ACAP. You know, so you know, we're looking to be you know, a high performance, you know, appealing device and similar capabilities to our 11N high-end 11N AP, but you know, with AC capabilities.
Do you know when you come to market with it? Actual AP?
Yeah, we're not prepared to give any roadmap date kind of things on it, but you know, we are working
this year.
I think the future is the answer.
Right, right. We are working on it, and you know, and we believe, you know, the market's going to AC. If you know, if you're a vendor like us, and you're not doing an ACAP, you know, I don't know what you're thinking.
Well, let me just share on that point. So, I mean, so we're not sharing any time frame for it, but I'll just say that we are embracing
the AC. As you can hear, it's in development. We will have both a single user MIMO and a multi-user MIMO following that. And I maybe at the next meeting we can share a little more on the timing.
So there's actually been, because I don't think there's been much discussed about multi-user. You know, it's all second generation, second wave.
Right.
There's been very little. So it's something you guys are...
Right, I mean, there's no chipsets for it yet.
Sure. Right, this is what
so,
I was talking about. There's going to be these waves of technology. You know,
exactly.
And the first one, the obvious things are, you know, all the chipsets are going to support 80 megahertz instead of 40 megahertz channels, or, you know, bonding 4 channels together in the higher QAM rates. You know, and the higher QAM rate, building a radio to do that, you know, means building basically a better front end on your radio and better capabilities in your DSP. You know, that will help, you know, just 11N clients, and you know, so you'll get those gains.
Has there been any time frames from Broadcom and the like in terms of a second wave? You know, they were just 2014, 2015%.
I think there's been some guidance, but I don't know what the commitments are at the moment.
How much of an impact is the FCC talking about these additional channels being added into the chipsets being on the development?
I don't think that's going to be a huge issue there, of opening up the new channels, and we've kind of done that in the past, and the radio chipsets are pretty much capable of it, and
so
you know,
it's just be like a software or firmware update to the radio if they announced it and actually allow those.
Yeah, hopefully, well, software, and then there's certification issues about, you know, grandfathering in things and what you know, what you can open up. Can you only open it up for newly shipped product that has, you know, the right label on it, and all those kinds of things that we'll have to work through. Okay, so I guess that's all for 11AC. The other thing I wanted to talk about was Bonjour. Oh, 1 minute on Bonjour. Okay, so you guys have heard about Bonjour. It's a really great feature in Apple devices, and it works wonderfully in your home and on, you know, small office networks. But you know, the big problem with it is, you know, you take it to a university, and there's a lot of issues when you get to like a big campus network. And you know, we understand the problems there, and you know, we're working on trying to solve that. And the, you know, basic philosophy behind what we're trying to do there is, you know, we've been touting identity-based network for years, and we want to carry that forward in Bonjour. So Bonjour advertises services on your network. So what you see, should be based on who you are. So what services are available. I shouldn't see the CEO's printer when I go to print, but the CEO should. What you see should be based on where you are. So when I bring up to go print from my iPhone here, I would like to see the printers that are in this building, but I don't really care to see the ones that are in our India Development Center. But when I'm in India, I want to see the ones that are in India so I can print there. The other kind of policy things are, what IT wants people to see where. So take a university, for example. You might want to allow iTunes to be visible in the dorms, and students can use iTunes in the dorms, but not in the classrooms, or things like that. So I'll give IT some control over policy of what's available where. And then the last point is users, when they bring their own devices into the environment, particularly in a university, I'm a student, I show up with my Apple TV and my iPad. I get set up in my dorm room, and I want to be able to play a movie on my Apple TV. Well, I shouldn't have to go and open a ticket with IT and wait 3 weeks for them to address the 50,000 students that came on campus and have the same problem. So we're aiming to make that automatic, that you bring your device in and it all just works, and you don't need external help. So that's kind of the picture of where we're going with it.
But when is that?
Again, same sort of thing. It's futures. We're working on it, but we're really not going to give out time frame. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. And Steve is a little bit modest. I just want to share that not only is he our senior software engineer and architect, he's also our liaison with the IEEE, the Wi-Fi Alliance, and the Wi-Fi Broadband Alliance. So very active for us externally as well. So as we wrap up, I just want to come back to this and just kind of tie this in. I hope we've managed to share with you. I think we very much opened the kimono in this event and shared with you not only what we've done thus far, but really where we're planning to go as well. How what we've been delivering is very much following these pillars along the desire to meet the mission critical network requirements, performance at scale, and moving forward, the unified policy, management, and network. These are things that we're actively working on. We're looking to actually increase our momentum and rate and how we deliver these, as we mentioned before. We're trying to build out the team and really put a lot more resources behind this and move up our timelines for some things. So I think we're very pleased with where we are and where we're going, and I hope we've managed to share with you and kind of our vision and how important we see this space. I really want to thank all of you for your time the second time around now. You guys, I think, are doing a great job in helping move this industry forward, and being able to share this with you, get your feedback, and I'm watching as much of it as we can live in between the sessions here. I've seen some great comments and great questions, and it's very helpful for us. And so I hope we will be able to continue this going forward as well at the next one. We're going to be able to linger a little bit. If you guys still have a few minutes after we go off camera, we're happy to stay and continue chatting on some other things. And with that, I want to pass it back over to Stephen and just say a last thank you very much.
All right.